Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, maybe with a cup of tea in hand, and suddenly a memory from years ago floats into your mind? Maybe it's a family gathering, a favorite song, or the way the sunlight used to stream through your kitchen window. As we get older, these moments of reflection become more frequent, and sometimes they come with a gentle question: how do we know when someone we love, or even ourselves, might be nearing the final chapter of life? It's not an easy question, and it's one that many of us would rather not think about. But understanding the subtle signs that someone may be in their final year can be a gift, both for ourselves and for those we care about. It allows us to cherish the time we have, to make meaningful choices, and to offer comfort and support when it's needed most. Today, I want to talk with you about something that's not often discussed openly, but is so important for seniors and their families. We're going to explore 5 signs that an elderly person may be in their final year, subtle warnings that are easy to overlook, but shouldn't be ignored. My hope is that by sharing these signs, you'll feel more prepared, more empowered, and maybe even a little more at peace with the natural process of aging. This isn't about being afraid or giving up hope. It's about recognizing changes, having honest conversations, and making the most of every precious day. So, let's settle in together. Maybe you're watching this for yourself, or maybe you're thinking of a parent, a spouse, or a dear friend. Either way, you're not alone. We're in this together, and I promise to keep things warm, gentle, and practical, just like a conversation with an old friend. Let's begin with the first sign, one that often slips by unnoticed: a noticeable decline in physical strength and mobility. Now, we all know that as we age, our bodies change. Maybe you don't walk as fast as you used to, or you need a little help getting up from your favorite chair. That's perfectly normal. But what I'm talking about here is a more sudden or significant change. Perhaps someone who used to walk around the block every morning now struggles to make it to the mailbox. Or maybe you notice that your loved one is having trouble standing, even with support, or they're spending more and more time in bed. These changes can happen over weeks or months, and they're often accompanied by a sense of fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. I remember visiting my aunt a few years ago. She was always so active, always the first one up to dance at family parties. But one day I noticed she was moving much slower, and she seemed to tire after just a few steps. She brushed it off, saying she was just having a lazy day, but over time those lazy days became more frequent. It wasn't just age catching up with her, it was her body telling her, gently but firmly, that things were changing. If you notice this kind of shift in yourself or someone you love, it's important to pay attention. It doesn't mean you should panic, but it does mean it's time to talk to your doctor, to make sure you're getting the right support, and to think about how you can make daily life a little easier and more comfortable. Sometimes, these changes in strength and mobility come with other signs, like unexplained weight loss or a loss of appetite. Maybe food just doesn't taste as good as it used to, or you find yourself skipping meals without really meaning to. This brings us to the second sign, a noticeable decrease in appetite and changes in eating habits. It's common for people in their final year to lose interest in food, even in their favorite dishes. You might notice that your loved one is eating much less, leaving food untouched, or even forgetting to eat altogether. Sometimes, they might say they're just not hungry, or that food doesn't taste right anymore. This can be hard to watch, especially if you've always enjoyed sharing meals together. Food is such a big part of our lives. It's how we celebrate, how we comfort each other, how we show love. When someone starts to lose interest in eating, it can feel like a loss in itself, but it's important to remember that this is a natural part of the body slowing down. The digestive system becomes less efficient, and the body's need for calories and nutrients changes. If you notice this happening, try not to force large meals. Instead, offer small, easy-to-eat snacks throughout the day and focus on foods that are comforting and familiar. Sometimes, just sitting together at the table, even if you're the only one eating, can bring a sense of normalcy and connection. Along with changes in appetite, you might also notice that your loved one is losing weight without trying. Their clothes might start to hang loosely, or you might see that their face looks thinner. This can be a sign that the body is no longer absorbing nutrients as well as it used to, or that it's using up energy reserves more quickly. Again, this isn't something to be afraid of, but it is something to talk about with your healthcare provider. They can help you find ways to keep your loved one comfortable and nourished, even if they're eating less. As we talk about these changes, I want to remind you that every person is different. Some people may experience these signs gradually, while others may notice them more suddenly. The important thing is to stay observant, to trust your instincts, and to reach out for help when you need it. You know yourself and your loved ones better than anyone else, and your observations are valuable. Now, as we move forward, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed so far. We've talked about a decline in physical strength and mobility, and a decrease in appetite and changes in eating habits. These are subtle signs, but they can tell us a lot about what's happening inside the body. Recognizing them early can help you make important decisions, whether it's adjusting daily routines, seeking medical advice, or simply spending more quality time together. Another sign that often goes unnoticed, but can be deeply telling, is a growing withdrawal from social activities and relationships. Maybe you've noticed that someone who used to love chatting on the phone or joining family gatherings now prefers to stay in their room, or seems less interested in visitors. Sometimes, it's as simple as not wanting to get dressed for the day, or turning down invitations to join in on favorite hobbies. This kind of withdrawal isn't always about sadness or depression, though those can play a part. It's often the body and mind's way of conserving energy and focusing inward. I remember a neighbor of mine, Mr. Santos, who was always the life of the block. He'd wave at everyone, tell stories about his younger days, and never missed a Sunday lunch with his children and grandchildren. But over time, his family noticed he started skipping those lunches, saying he was tired or just not up for it. At first, they thought he was just having an off week, but as the months went by, he became quieter, spending more time alone and even letting his phone ring without answering. His family worried, of course, but they also realized that this was part of a natural process. Sometimes, as people approach the end of life, they begin to let go of the outside world and focus more on their own thoughts and memories. If you notice this kind of withdrawal in yourself or someone you care about, it's important to approach it with understanding and patience. Instead of pushing for more activity or socializing, try to meet your loved one where they are. Maybe that means sitting quietly together, listening to music, or simply holding hands. Sometimes, just being present is the greatest comfort you can offer. And if you're the one feeling this way, know that it's okay to take things at your own pace. Let your friends and family know how you're feeling, And don't be afraid to ask for quiet companionship instead of conversation. Alongside social withdrawal, another subtle sign to watch for is changes in mental clarity or increased confusion. This can show up in many ways: forgetting names or dates, getting lost in familiar places, or having trouble following conversations. Sometimes, it's as simple as repeating the same question several times or seeming more disoriented than usual, especially in the evenings. This is often called sundowning, when confusion and restlessness become more pronounced as the day goes on. These changes can be unsettling, both for the person experiencing them and for their loved ones. It's natural to feel frustrated or worried when someone you care about seems to be slipping away mentally. But it's important to remember that this too is a common part of the final stages of life. The brain, like the rest of the body, begins to slow down. Memories may become jumbled, and the world can feel overwhelming or unfamiliar. If you notice these changes, try to create a calm and reassuring environment. Keep routines simple and predictable, and use gentle reminders instead of corrections. For example, if your loved one forgets what day it is, instead of saying, "I already told you," try saying, "It's Monday today, and we're having your favorite soup for lunch." Small gestures like labeling drawers or keeping a calendar visible can also help, and most importantly, offer lots of reassurance and love. A gentle touch, a warm smile, or a familiar song can do wonders to ease anxiety and confusion. Sometimes, these mental changes can be made worse by things like infections, dehydration, or medication side effects. If you notice a sudden or dramatic change in mental clarity, it's always a good idea to check in with a doctor. There may be something treatable going on, and getting help quickly can make a big difference. As we talk about these signs, withdrawal from social activities and changes in mental clarity, it's important to remember that they don't mean someone has given up or lost hope. In fact, many people find a new kind of peace and acceptance during this time. They may spend more time reflecting on their life, sharing stories, or expressing gratitude for the people and experiences that have meant the most to them. If you're supporting someone through this stage, try to listen more than you speak and let them guide the conversation. Sometimes, the most meaningful moments come from simply being together, without any need for words. It's also worth mentioning that these changes can be gradual or sudden, and they don't always follow a predictable pattern. Some days may be better than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to stay present, to offer kindness and understanding, and to take care of yourself too. Supporting someone in their final year can be emotionally and physically draining, so don't hesitate to reach out for help from friends, family, or professional caregivers. As we continue this conversation, keep in mind that noticing these signs isn't about giving up or losing hope. It's about recognizing the natural rhythms of life and finding ways to make each day as comfortable and meaningful as possible. Whether you're caring for someone else or reflecting on your own journey, remember that you are not alone. There is support, there is love, and there is always room for connection, even in the quietest moments. Another sign that can quietly emerge, often without much notice at first, is a change in sleep patterns and increased time spent resting. You might find that someone who used to be up early, ready to greet the day, now sleeps much longer or takes frequent naps throughout the day. Nights might become restless,
with more time spent awake or shifting in bed, while the days are filled with drowsiness and a desire to just close their eyes for a while. This isn't just about being tired, it's the body's way of slowing down, conserving energy, and preparing for what's ahead.
I remember my own grandfather, who was always an early riser. He'd be up before the sun, making coffee and reading the newspaper. But as he got older, especially in his final year, mornings became slower. He'd sleep in, sometimes until mid-morning, and even then, he'd doze off in his favorite chair after breakfast. At first, we thought it was just a sign of aging, but over time, it became clear that his body was asking for more rest than ever before. He'd often say, "I just feel so tired, even though I haven't done much." If you or someone you love is experiencing this, it's important to listen to what the body is saying. There's no need to push for activity or try to stick to old routines if they no longer feel right. Sometimes, these changes in sleep can also bring about moments of confusion, especially at night. You might notice your loved one waking up disoriented, unsure of where they are, or even talking in their sleep. This can be unsettling, but it's a common part of the process. The best thing you can do is create a calm, comfortable environment, soft lighting, familiar objects nearby, and a gentle voice to offer reassurance if they wake up confused. If you're the one experiencing these changes, be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself the rest you need, and don't feel guilty for spending more time in bed or taking extra naps. Your body is doing important work, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Along with changes in sleep, another subtle but important sign is a shift in breathing patterns. This can be one of the most noticeable changes as someone nears the end of life, but it often starts gradually. You might hear breathing that becomes more shallow, with longer pauses between breaths, or a gentle rattling sound that wasn't there before. Sometimes, breathing becomes irregular, fast for a few moments, then slow, then fast again. This is called Cheyne-Stokes breathing, and while it can be startling to witness, it's a natural part of the body's process as it prepares to let go. If you notice these changes, it's important to stay calm and offer comfort. There's usually no pain involved, and the person may not even be aware of the changes in their breathing. You can help by keeping the room quiet and peaceful, maybe playing soft music, or simply holding their hand. If you're worried or unsure, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare provider or hospice nurse. They can offer guidance and reassurance and help you know what to expect. Sometimes, these changes in breathing are accompanied by coolness in the hands and feet, or a bluish tint to the fingers and lips. This happens because the body is sending less blood to the extremities, focusing instead on the vital organs. It can be a little alarming to see, but it's another natural part of the process. You can help by keeping your loved one warm and comfortable, using soft blankets or warm socks, and offering gentle touch if they find it soothing. As we talk about these signs, changes in sleep, increased rest, and shifts in breathing, it's important to remember that everyone's journey is unique. Some people may experience these changes quickly, while for others, it happens slowly over weeks or months. The most important thing is to stay present, to offer comfort and reassurance, and to honor the needs and wishes of your loved one or yourself during this time. It's also a good moment to remind yourself that it's okay to ask for help. Caring for someone in their final year can be overwhelming, and you don't have to do it alone. Reach out to friends, family, or professional caregivers for support. Sometimes, just having someone to talk to can make all the difference. And if you're the one experiencing these changes, let your loved ones know how they can help you feel more comfortable, whether that's bringing you a favorite blanket, sitting quietly by your side, or simply listening when you need to talk. As we move through these signs together, I hope you're finding a sense of understanding and peace. These changes, while sometimes difficult to witness or experience, are a natural part of life's journey. They remind us to slow down, to cherish the moments we have, and to offer love and kindness in every way we can. As we continue this gentle conversation, let's talk about one more sign that often appears as someone nears the end of their journey: a growing sense of detachment from the world around them and a quiet turning inward. This can be subtle at first: a faraway look in the eyes, a tendency to drift off during conversations, or a sense that the person is less interested in what's happening day to day. Over time, this detachment can deepen, and you might notice that your loved one spends more time in a peaceful, almost dreamlike state, sometimes speaking less or responding more slowly. This isn't something to fear. In fact, many people describe this stage as a time of reflection, where the mind and spirit begin to let go of the busyness of daily life and focus on memories, feelings, and even spiritual questions. Some people talk about seeing loved ones who have already passed, or they might share dreams that feel especially vivid or meaningful. Others simply become quieter, content to listen rather than speak, or to rest with their eyes closed, even when they're awake. If you notice this kind of detachment, it's important to honor it. There's no need to pull someone back into the world of chores, news, or small talk if they seem uninterested. Instead, try to create a calm, loving space where they can feel safe and supported. Soft music, gentle touch, and the presence of familiar faces can bring comfort even if words are no longer needed. Sometimes, just sitting together in silence can be the most powerful way to show your love. During this time, you might also notice that your loved one's needs become simpler. They may want less food and drink, preferring just a sip of water or a spoonful of something cool and sweet. They might not want to be moved as much, or they may find comfort in having their favorite pillow or blanket nearby. Listen closely to what they ask for, and trust that even small gestures, a cool cloth on the forehead, a favorite scent, or a gentle hand to hold, can mean the world. It's also common for people in this stage to express a sense of peace or acceptance. They may talk about feeling ready, or they might share memories and words of wisdom that they've carried for a lifetime. If you're able, encourage these conversations. Ask about their favorite memories, the lessons they've learned, or the things they're most proud of. These moments can be deeply meaningful, both for the person who is nearing the end of life and for those who love them. They're a chance to celebrate a life well lived, to say thank you, and to share love in its purest form. Of course, this stage can also bring up feelings of sadness, fear, or uncertainty for both the person who is letting go and for those who are saying goodbye. It's okay to feel these emotions. Allow yourself to grieve, to cry, or to simply sit with your feelings. Reach out to friends, family, or a counselor if you need support. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone. As you move through these days, try to focus on what brings comfort and meaning. Maybe it's reading a favorite poem, listening to cherished music, or looking through old photo albums together. Maybe it's simply holding hands and letting the quiet fill the room. There's no right or wrong way to be present during this time. Just follow your heart and let love guide you. When the time comes and your loved one takes their final breath, know that you have given them the greatest gift, your presence, your care, and your love. It's natural to feel a mix of emotions, relief, sadness, gratitude, even a sense of disbelief. Allow yourself to feel whatever comes and take comfort in knowing that you did your best. As we reflect on these 5 signs, a decline in strength and mobility, changes in appetite, withdrawal from social activities, shifts in sleep and breathing, and a gentle turning inward, remember that each person's journey is unique. Some may experience all of these signs, while others may only show a few. The most important thing is to stay present, to listen with your heart, and to offer kindness and understanding every step of the way. If you're watching this and recognizing some of these signs in yourself or someone you love, I want you to know that you are not alone. There is help, there is support, and there is always hope for comfort and connection. Even in the final chapters of life, small acts of love, a smile, a gentle touch, a shared memory can bring light to even the darkest days. I encourage you to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your story might be just what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more gentle, practical advice on aging, caregiving, and living well at every stage of life. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, every day is a gift and there is beauty to be found in every moment, no matter where you are on your journey. Here's to living your best life with courage, compassion, and love at any age.